Welcome back to another week in Port Charles, where nothing stays quiet for long. This week on General Hospital was a roller coaster, full of secrets, betrayals, emotional confrontations, and a few unexpected moments that left fans talking long after the episode ended. Tensions are rising all across town. Old grudges are coming back to haunt the living, while new alliances are being formed in the shadows. Families are being torn apart, friendships are being tested, and some relationships may never recover. Everyone seems to be keeping a secret, and when the truth finally comes out, it's bound to change everything. What makes this week stand out is how quickly the stakes have shifted. 1 minute, a character is standing on solid ground, and the next, everything they thought they knew is falling apart. Every conversation feels loaded with subtext, every glance hides a motive, and every decision carries a cost. You can feel that we're inching closer to a breaking point, where something big is about to explode. As the dust settles, one question lingers: who will be left standing when all the lies are exposed? It's classic General Hospital storytelling, layered, emotional, and unpredictable. If you've been watching from the beginning, this is your reminder to keep your eyes open and your theories ready. And if you're just catching up, now's the perfect time to dive back in. Like, comment, and share your thoughts. What did you think of this week's twists? Who do you think is about to make their next move? Stay tuned, because the next chapter in Port Charles is just getting started. Port Charles did not ease into the new week. Monday came in swinging, and by the end of the day, every corner of the city was buzzing with tension, shock, and the kind of emotional fallout that only this town can deliver. We begin with what is already being called the slap scene around Port Charles. In a heated, public confrontation, Laura Collins completely lost her composure and delivered a sharp slap to Professor Dalton, in front of a crowd that instantly pulled out their phones. The footage spread like wildfire. Laura unleashed years of pent-up anger, calling him a liar, an opportunist, and the man who destroyed her grandson's future by framing Rocco for a crime he didn't commit. The crowd gasped, Dalton stumbled, and Laura didn't stop. She doubled down, shouting that his lies would crumble and that she was done being polite. By lunch hour, every resident with a phone had seen the clip. Meanwhile, inside the courthouse, the drama took a darker turn. Ada Justine Turner revealed new evidence against Rocco, painting him as responsible for the lab damage. The tension in that courtroom was suffocating. Dante was furious, Lulu was in disbelief, and Sonny couldn't hide his rising suspicion. Rick Lansing, in a desperate bid to keep Rocco out of jail, negotiated a community service agreement, but even he admitted the timing and nature of this new evidence was questionable. Sonny Corinthos, never one to ignore a gut feeling, openly challenged Turner's motives. He wants answers, and when Sonny wants answers, history tells us someone will eventually crack. Across town, the pressure finally got to young Gio Palmieri. In an emotional confession to Brooklyn Quartermain, Gio admitted that he was the one who recruited the teens to break into the lab, a truth that could shift the entire case. Brooklyn's reaction was a mix of fury, heartbreak, and fear, knowing this revelation could ruin multiple families. Gio's guilt was heavy. He took full responsibility, but whether that will help Rocco or make things worse remains to be seen. And if that wasn't enough chaos for one day, Britt Westbourne confronted Emma Scorpio Drake in classic Brit fashion, blunt, fierce, and absolutely done with excuses. Britt accused Emma of pushing Rocco into stealing the key fob, insisting Emma's choices directly led to Rocco's arrest. Emma tried to take the blame and explain herself, but Britt wasn't letting her off the hook. The bitterness hanging between them is only growing, and this confrontation may be the start of a deeper fracture. In the relationship trenches of Port Charles, things are no less explosive. Portia Robinson is keeping a life-changing secret: she's pregnant. But Curtis stumbled upon the hidden sonogram, forcing a harsh truth into the open. Portia is terrified to reconcile, unsure of Curtis's feelings and shaken after spotting him with Jordan. Every path she takes feels dangerous, and she's struggling to decide which truth will do the least damage. Meanwhile, Trina Robinson is drowning in her own moral dilemma. She wants to confess to her parents that she was at Drew's house the night he was shot. She believes honesty is the only way forward, but Kai is urging her to slow down, think carefully, and consider the ripple effects. Trina is torn between doing what feels right and protecting the people she loves. Back at the PCPD, Dante Falconeri finally snapped. When he learned Gio was involved in the events that put Rocco in danger, his fury was volcanic. He ordered Gio to stay away from Rocco and made it clear he's done with excuses. Gio may have confessed, but reconciliation is not in Dante's vocabulary right now. And in a quiet but dangerous moment, Rick Lansing dropped a bombshell onto Alexis Davis's desk. He suggested, subtly, yet deliberately, that Portia may have been the one who shot Drew Kane. And to make things even more jaw-dropping, Rick hinted he has evidence that could prove it. Whether that evidence is real, manipulated, or part of another legal chess game remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: this revelation has the power to destroy lives. Port Charles is spiraling, secrets are shaking loose, friendships are cracking, families are breaking, and Monday has set the tone for an explosive week ahead. Port Charles was shaken to its core today as truths came crashing down, alliances fractured, and several lives took dangerous turns. Danny Morgan and Charlotte Cassadine shocked the PCPD when they turned themselves in, finally admitting to their roles in the lab break-in that landed Rocco Falconeri in the hot seat. Their confession sends ripples through the investigation, and now the question is simple: will this be enough to save Rocco, or is the damage already done? Meanwhile, the shadows around Professor Henry, Hank, Dalton grow darker. Jen Sidwell, realizing Dalton has become a liability, is quietly plotting a fatal solution. With Marco Rios at his side, the two weigh their options, and Dalton's future looks grim. As the tension mounts, Britt Westbourne draws her own line in the sand. With Rocco's freedom slipping away, she issues a firm ultimatum, determined to protect the teen and expose the truth, no matter whose toes she steps on. At the courthouse, things only get worse. Rocco's arraignment spirals when the judge orders him to be held pending trial, sending the Falconeri and Westbourne families reeling. Rick Lansing pushes forward, digging relentlessly for inconsistencies in the case, because someone is lying, and Rick intends to prove it. The emotional fallout is just as explosive. Jason and Britt butt heads when Jason refuses to let Danny further incriminate himself, even for the greater good. His apology softens the blow, but the line between them remains. Across town, Dante and Lulu clash over Gio's role in the break-in, each parent desperate to protect their son, even as their versions of the truth collide. And in a moment of rare vulnerability, Curtis asks Portia to rebuild what they lost for the sake of their unborn child. But Portia, haunted by past heartbreak, can't give him the answer he wants, not yet. Finally, Laura Collins faces the consequences of her viral explosion. Her dramatic confrontation with Dalton, complete with a slap heard around Port Charles, has the public questioning her judgment, and it may cost her more than just her temper. Tonight, confessions landed, secrets deepened, and the path forward for nearly every family in Port Charles grew more complicated. And tomorrow, the fallout begins. Port Charles didn't just have a dramatic day, it had a reckoning. A series of choices, betrayals, confessions, and power plays collided so violently that nothing and no one will walk away untouched. It began with a gunshot that shattered the fragile balance everyone was trying to maintain. Professor Henry, Hank, Dalton, a man who had been spiraling, manipulating, drinking, and dragging others into the quicksand of his own downfall, was executed by Jen Sidwell. Not arrested, not confronted, eliminated, Sidwell decided Dalton had outlived his usefulness, and with a cold, precise shot, he removed a liability. But this wasn't just Dalton's ending, it was a brutal reminder of the world Sidwell forces Britt Westbourne to live in. She watched it happen. She heard the echo of the gunshot. She felt every ounce of the control he has over her titan. And when she confronted him, accusing him of stealing her life, chaining her to medication, dictating her every breath, Sidwell didn't deny it. He embraced it. To him, he's not her captor. He's her savior. To Britt, he's the cage she can't escape. And while one life ended in violence, another chapter was being written across town, one filled with power, politics, and bitterness. Laura Collins won the mayoral election, a hard-fought victory that should have been a celebration. But instead of confetti, she's met with chaos. Her heated confrontation with Dalton at the polling site now hangs over her like a storm cloud. Whispers, questions, suspicions, and then there's Drew Kane, smug, sharp, and itching for a reaction, leaning in just enough to enjoy the tension as he asks her if a simple, "I lost," would satisfy her. A victory she earned, but a victory that might cost her more than she ever expected. Meanwhile, the walls of the PCPD echoed with a confession nobody anticipated. Danny Morgan and Charlotte Cassadine walked in and admitted to the lab break-in, the very crime that has Rocco Falconeri's life hanging in the balance. Their words were meant to save him, or so it seems. But this is Port Charles. Nobody confesses without motive. Nobody turns themselves in without a reason. Are they protecting Rocco, or protecting themselves? And as the truth spilled out in one part of town, dangerous secrets were erupting in another. Jocelyn Jax, caught in a storm of emotions she doesn't fully understand, made a desperate, risky move. She urged Dalton, drunk, unstable, unraveling, to leave town with her. To run. To disappear. It was reckless. It was emotional. It was pure Joss. But now Dalton is dead, and that moment may haunt her forever. Before she can even gather her thoughts, Vaughn calls for her, a summons that feels less like a conversation and more like a warning. And Jocelyn, already standing on shaky ground, may be walking straight into a minefield. And through it all, relationships across Port Charles are splintering under the weight of the truth. Laura's victory is overshadowed by scandal. Britt's autonomy is crumbling under Sidwell's chokehold. Dante's fury at Gio builds with every passing second, threatening to fracture their connection beyond repair. And Emma Scorpio Drake, drowning in guilt and shame, lashes out at the consequences of decisions she never imagined would spiral this far. Tonight, Port Charles doesn't feel like a city, it feels like a powder keg. Every choice has a cost. Every lie has a shadow. Every secret waits for the worst possible moment to detonate. And as the dust settles over Dalton's death, Laura's victory, Britt's captivity, Jocelyn's risky choices, and Danny and Charlotte's confession. One thing is clear. Port Charles isn't just changing, it's erupting. Port Charles is reeling tonight, and the storm shows no signs of slowing. Dalton's murder wasn't just a killing, it was an execution. Jen Sidwell pulled the trigger without hesitation, ending Professor Henry Dalton's life right in front of Britt Westbourne. In that single moment, Britt realized she was no longer just caught in Sidwell's shadow, she was owned by it. And Sidwell made sure she understood that this was her final warning: obey, or fall next. Meanwhile, Laura Collins, newly re-elected, hopeful, proud, found herself living a nightmare. One flat tire, one quiet roadside stop, and suddenly she's face to face with Dalton's corpse in the trunk of her own car. Her celebration turned to dread in seconds, and now the mayor of Port Charles is tied to a murder she didn't even know happened. Willow Tate is hanging on by a thread, desperate to clear her name. Drew's shooting has put her under a spotlight she never wanted, and she's begging Alexis Davis for help, but Alexis can only guide her so far. If Willow wants the truth to save her, she'll have to stop hiding and reveal her alibi. Across town, Sonny Corinthos is watching everything with wary eyes. Michael's new entanglement with Jacinda Bracken has him uneasy, wondering if his son is slipping back into old patterns. And in the Spencer family, Carly and Lucas are exploding, their fight over Marco Rios driving a wedge so deep that Lucas warns Carly she's risking her place in his life. Ava Jerome, never one to stay silent, issues her own warning to Marco: hurt Lucas, and she'll come for him herself. And finally, Detective Harrison Chase is peeling back Jacinda Bracken's story piece by piece, and he's starting to believe her alibi the night of Drew's shooting may be nothing but smoke. This is Port Charles, where no secret stays buried, no alliance stays solid, and tonight, the truth is coming for everyone. Sidwell kills Dalton. Laura finds the body. Britt terrified. Gio and Sonny reconnect. Jason digging for answers. Chase busts Michael's alibi. Michael crumbling. Sidwell's plan moves forward. With all of that happening in a single episode, it's clear that Port Charles is entering one of its most intense stretches yet. Every storyline is tightening at the same time, and every character is standing on shifting ground. Sidwell's decision to eliminate Dalton didn't just close one chapter. It opened an entirely new layer of danger for Britt, Jason, Marco, and anyone who gets too close. Laura finding that body in the trunk is the kind of twist that will have ripple effects for days, especially with Sonny stepping in to contain the fallout. Meanwhile, the emotional core of the episode came through in Gio's moment with Sonny, a rare pause in the chaos, but one that carries real weight in the larger family dynamic and everything still unresolved with Dante. And while all of that is unfolding, Jason is locking in harder than ever, refusing to let go until he uncovers the truth behind Dalton's lab and Britt's involvement. His obsession is growing, and for longtime viewers, that's usually the sign that something big is coming. But perhaps the most explosive thread is the one unraveling around Michael Corinthos. Chase exposing the cracks in Michael's alibi has officially set off the next round of consequences. Willow's case, Justin's panic, Michael's desperation, every piece is moving toward a breaking point. And with Sidwell still pulling strings behind the scenes, his plan advancing, and more people realizing just how deep this conspiracy goes, it's only a matter of time before the next major blow hits. If you've been following along and enjoying these detailed breakdowns, make sure to like the video to support the channel. Share it with other General Hospital fans who love digging into the twists as much as we do. Drop a comment below with your theories, predictions, or the moment that shocked you the most from today's episode. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update, a recap, or a deep dive into everything happening in Port Charles. Thanks so much for watching. The drama is only getting bigger, the stakes are climbing, and every storyline is heading toward impact. I'll see you in the next one.